Everyone, Ronnie Rowe here with Ronnie Rowe Designs, back again this week for another episode of my channel and what I do with cross stitch. I hope, well, like I say, I'd like to welcome each and one of you folks back. Hope you had a great week. This is Thanksgiving week. I know you're excited. We're having a lot of folks come in. My kids are coming in this week, and so kids, they're adults with the grandchildren. So kind of looking forward to that. They'll be here tomorrow. Um, what else is going on good this week? Well, the good news is you're not in Buffalo. If you're in Buffalo, New York, you're not watching Ronnie Rowe Designs. You don't care about Ronnie Rowe Designs. The only thing you're doing is digging snow right now. So, folks up there, we're thinking of you. And the folks who aren't there, be happy about that. So, but anyway, this week, what are we going to do this week? We're going to talk about a little bit about morning light. Uh, Story for you. Going to show you some new pictures, some old pictures, but you probably haven't seen. Before we do that, a little housekeeping. If you would kindly hit the subscribe button, I would very much appreciate that. And also go down to the bottom, somewhere down here, and look, and you can see the links to my website, SD sites. And so anyway, you can find a lot of my designs there. Um, okay, so this week I did get some requests this week. I got quite a few requests for the PDF file for Morning Light, so I've sent those out. And if you did request one, send me an email, and I'll get that to you. Don't put it as a comment on the page here for the YouTube channel. Send me an email, and I'll shoot you a copy of that PDF file. If you have done it and you hadn't get it, send it to me again. So I've had quite a few I've sent out so far. Morning light. Where are we? Well, I've been stitching that this week, and where I am with morning light is that's what I've done so far. And as you can see, I'm over here working on this part right here. This is where I am right now. Finished all of this over here. This is the tree coming down. You're going to see the light coming down here and the shed going down in this area. But that's how far I've gotten so far. Yeah, next week I'll be halfway through or so on. So then we'll show you, get this thing framed up and see how it looks. I like the colors in this. The colors are coming together very, very good for me. And I'm really liking those. How I stitch, this is my floss that I stitch with. I cut these little strips and put my floss and my colors for morning light on that. My bag of floss, this is my bag of floss for morning light. Got that all done right now. So that design is complete right now. Haven't put it out anywhere yet. I won't do anything like that until I finish stitching everything, but I've got it all the way I want it right now. What I'm doing right now is starting a new project. I've been giving it some thought. I've been giving some thought for a long time. Um, so what I'm going to do, I think, is something with some clouds and some mountains in the background, and I want to do a lazy river because I really like Snowbound and Mystic Harbor. I like those a lot, and so I'm going to do something similar to that with a pier and a house out, a boathouse on the water with some rocky shore or something like that. So I'm playing around with that right now. So that's in the works, and that'll be my next design if that's what I decide to do. It's really preliminary right now, so we'll see how that goes. When I first got started, I told you I was going to share with you a story. I told you the story about going to Fall Festival and about the guy that didn't want the house done in County Cross Stitch. More than several years ago, a long time ago, I guess back in the 80s, I guess. I was at a point in my life that I thought I wanted to go to outdoor art shows and hang all of my pictures up, and I had my patterns there, the ones I had at the time. And get into that circuit around my area with art shows, and we had one in Williamsburg. It was the Junior Women's Club Spring Festival. They have this thing. It's been going on for a long, long time. Um, Probably back since colonial times. Well, maybe not that long, but anyway. So I registered, got into the show, and I've done this show several years. I've done it, well, more than once. But it's set up on Duke of Gloucester Street, downtown Williamsburg, Virginia. And if you've ever been to Williamsburg, Virginia in the summertime or the springtime when this was, it's very nice. The trees are blooming, and they've got the horses with the old colonial wagons pulling people down. It's nice. But anyway, but they had this art show that I set up right on Duke of Gloucester Street. And of course, it's very well attended if it's not raining. If raining, it's a washout. I mean, you just will pack up and go home. But anyway, I had my stand set up with all my pictures, and get pretty good response from people. People come by and buy patterns, and they would occasionally buy a picture of mine. And I had various prices on my pictures. My patterns were usually $4, $5, $6 for a pattern at that particular time. This lady and her husband came up, and they were so out of place for Saturday morning art show on Duke of Gloucester Street. Most people have a shirt on like this, and they'd have khakis on, their boat shoes, it's casual type thing. These people were decked out. I mean, they just looked the part of they didn't seem like they ought to be there, but they were. Well, anyway, she spotted my work and came over and really liked it, just fascinated by it. And I was told her how I did it and everything, and how the process I went through, and she just thought it was wonderful. And her husband was standing there with her, looking around, and of course, he's got the sport jacket on, the bow tie, the little beret. I mean, these people, like I say, were out of place. But anyway, she wanted to purchase one of my and they had already told me they were from California. They were from San Francisco area, and they had come to the East Coast, and one of the places they wanted to visit was Colonial Williamsburg. So anyway, she looked at all my stuff, and she wanted to purchase one of my charts. She really wanted to try this. After I explained how you did it, you go buy the floss material. She wanted to buy one, and I don't know what it cost. It was $4 or $5. Well, he looks at her and tells her, "Honey, do you really think we need to buy that? Do you think you're going to do that?" And she says, "Well, opportunity to get it here, so." And he says, "But sweetheart, you're just not going to do it. It's going to sit there, and you're not going to do this." And she says, "Well, it's something I think I could really do, and I give it a try when I get back home. I'd like to attempt something like this." These people got into an argument. I mean, a full-blown argument. And I'm standing there, other people standing around watching these people, and it got to the point where some language was being used. I'm selling cross stitch. And anyway, and he storms off and everything. And finally, she looks at me and she says, "Well, I'll be back, maybe," like that. And she leaves. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you come all the way from San Francisco, California to Colonial Williamsburg, Virginia, and you get in a fight over a $4 chart. A $4, you're staying probably at the Williamsburg Lodge. And trust me, that's more than $4 a night. And the food there, it's more than $4 for a plate. So, but anyway, I thought that was the funniest thing. Two people getting a fight over a $4 chart. He said she never finished. She probably never would have. I mean, I know that, but still, what is she out? A Big Mac and a drink. So, but anyway, I found that fascinating at the time. I just couldn't believe the lady did that. But that happened to me down Colonial Williamsburg. And so anyway, everybody kind of rolled their eyes at that one. So anyway, what I want to show you tonight are 3 pictures from that period of time. When I first started doing Colonial Williamsburg, all the buildings up there, and I've got several I like to show you tonight. The first one, and these, I just pulled these out of boxes that I have these pictures stored in. I've got them in another room, and I've got ordered these boxes from Uline, and specifically made for finished products. And I pulled these out tonight. So, but they're all framed up. And the first one I'd like to show you is the Capitol building. This is the original I did of the Capitol. And at the time I was doing these, this one, I would certainly change the trees now, because at the time, the trees are a little much, I think, but the perspective and the shading of the building turned out okay. This is down on Duke of Gloucester Street in Colonial Williamsburg, and I framed it, and I built the frame and framed it in this gold around it, so I thought it looked pretty good. At this time, when I did this picture and the other ones that I'm going to show you, and by the way, that one is in a book. That's the original picture you just saw that I put on the book that I was printing at the time. These are the books I call the leaflets, with all of that and instructions on the back. So that is Colonial Capitol. When I did these, there was no computers. Didn't have any computer to put this on. This was all hand done. The design of this was done by me taking repetograph pen and doing the little X's and O's and designing this thing. So this took quite a while to do. But anyway, that's Colonial Capitol. The next one I'd like to show you this evening is the old millinery shop. This, again, this is one of the originals I had, the way I framed it. And there is the old millinery shop. And this is down on Duke of Gloucester Street also. After looking at this, probably the trees I changed a little bit, but as far as the picture itself, I don't think so. I like this. I like the perspective looking down it. And again, I built the frame on this one, and at the time, that's the way I was putting 4 mats boards, or 4 mats in this frame. And so the way I framed it. But this is the old millinery shop, and the old millinery shop, there it is. There's the picture. And this one was reframed and framed a different way for the actual picture itself, because the actual picture itself, when I had a fellow creative photography, was doing my photography at the time, what we did on this was took the whole thing apart, and what the colors I'm using here on the leaflet are the same as the background color right here on the picture, if you can see. So we wanted that effect, and Elliot Thorne, the fellow that did the work for me, did all the photography. He was responsible at the time for putting the light on the candle, making that sparkle. And to get to this, you had to have a 4x5 transparency you had to make and send this off to the printer for these big presses, these 4-color presses. So it's quite a deal putting something like this together. The last one I'm going to show you this evening is probably one of the first ones I did. It's one of my favorites. It's the Governor's Palace. This is the front view, not the Colonial Gardens, but this is the front view of the Governor's Palace. And that is a finish. This is my original I did on this thing. And it took a lot of work. And again, the trees in it very similar to the ones you saw in the Capitol, but this picture at the time I really liked, and we went through a pile of these in Colonial Williamsburg with the needlework shops. So and all 3 of these pictures are still available on my SD site. And again, this frame, I built this frame, did a little bit of extra routing in this area right here to make it stand off a little bit. But I thought you'd like to see the pictures I did when I first started. And all of these were done back in the 80s, late 80s, mid 80s, late 80s. So they're quite old. I've got them all. I don't have them hanging in my house. I don't have room, but these are in storage in boxes I have. And I don't know what'll ever happen to them. But anyway, here they are. I enjoy them occasionally, take them out and take a look at them. So, but anyway, those are the three pictures I like to show you for this evening. I don't have a whole lot more tonight. I'm going to continue stitching if I can. I don't know how much more I'll get done on morning light. Probably not a lot this week. So, but hopefully next week or week after next, I'll be able to show you from my preliminary drawings and everything for something we're going to be doing on the mountains and the lake and the little house and the rocks and all that I'm talking. That's what I'm thinking right now. And that's for, like I say, very similar to Snowbound. But anyway, that's where we are right now. I appreciate each and every one of you going watching these videos. I appreciate you subscribing to my channel, and I appreciate you just being you. And again, if anybody's out there hearing this and want a copy, a PDF file of Morning Light, send me an email, and I will certainly send you a no cost at all to you, a PDF file for that particular design. So anyway, have a great Thanksgiving. Take care, be safe, kiss all the kids, the grandmothers, the grandfathers, and the neighbors, and whoever's comes by for turkey, ham, or whatever what you're going to have it. Be safe and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.